Demise here with
Atomic Crest,
and we are the host of the Greatest Duelist. I think you know the basic concept of the show already. We take duelists from every series of Yu-Gi-Oh! And have them fight each other in never before seen duels until there's a final winner and new king of games. Or will Yugi retain his title? We don't know. And there's other things that you don't know yet. Such as, you know, how decks are made.
what kind of brackets and how they'll be made,
How do we test each deck for the show?
and how are we gonna format the show anyways?
Well, we're here to answer those questions right now. First things first, we go to YugiohWikia.com to look at bios for every duelist because, you know, wouldn't going through every episode be kind of insane?
I know I'm gonna watch every episode tonight.
That he will, but, well, first we go off cards from the anime first, because it's what we're mainly testing here. It's the names we're mainly going by, though we will also mention the Japanese pronunciation too.
We're also gonna be going through the manga as well to look for cards because mix and match, and we'll have a very decent and probably excellent deck if we do that.
Maybe, but sometimes things just don't make the cut, so after the anime and manga, we multiply the amount of cards in the deck to help it reach 40. Because in the show, very few cards are shown sometimes until later series. So this is mostly for Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 1, but there's also side characters that had very little cards shown. And after that, if it still isn't not quite 40 yet, we're
gonna go into the video games, yeah, because sometimes, even with the anime and manga, there were side characters, as stated earlier, that didn't have all the cards, and we need 40.
However, we will not multiply it from here because many of the video game cards are staple cards, and putting 3 MSTs in the deck would make it a little bit too broken. But of course, there's one other thing we're going to try to do to make everything nice and balanced out.
We're gonna try to have a balance of monsters, spells, and traps. We don't want one deck just full of maybe 39 monsters in one spell card. That would be a little imbalanced.
Yeah, it would. And the majority of the decks must have most of the cards from the anime to be valid. We can't have an entire deck from the Game Boy because that'd also be broken, trust me. I did testing in Chaos Sorcerer, who only had one card in the entire anime, was killing everybody with his Game Boy deck. That was embarrassing, and it's not going to happen in this series.
We'll make sure of it.
Or else. One more thing I would like to note, though, if multiplication does have to be done, the deck can only reach up to 40 cards. Yeah, that's a little side rule I made.
We don't want to go over, we don't want to keep under. We're going to keep it at 40. As best as
if
we can.
possible. Unless,
If
of course,
possible.
there was over 40 cards shown by the duelists themselves. Some list decks are over 40. Though not much, because that would make a terrible deck, as anyone who plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Would tell you. Next up is how brackets are made. This will be a short but I feel necessary section. First thing to keep in mind is...
Random brackets have already been made for the show. We aren't punishing our viewers or anything, but we just want to make the flow of the show easier on the editors and just everyone in general.
Also, we don't want people voting Seto-Kai versus Yugi every week, so a voting format will not be done. Randomization is the most fair way to do it, and each round will be randomized, including the losing brackets, which we'll get to later on.
Repeats will be avoided. This means that if the two duelists fought in the show, it will be avoided.
If they make it to the semifinals, there's no way to avoid having somebody face each other who have already faced. So be it, but I have a feeling that that's probably not going to happen, but we'll know for sure later on. And also, one last note. Well, top tier duelists will not be presented in the first round. I mean, they will be presented in the first round, but they will not be fighting each other. For example, we had Seto Kaiba versus Yusei Fudo together in the first round brackets, but I decided to make an executive decision to change it because I think that's more of a quarterfinals match and much better for later in the show, as awesome as the pairing would be.
It'd be damn impressive.
Yes, it would.
Next is how testing is done to decide the winner.
Alright, first things first. This will be a traditional format tournament, of course, and it will be going 2 out of 3, 8,000 life points, 10 duels in total. However,
After the 5th duel, players will switch decks to eliminate any variable of the specific duelist.
Exactly. In short, I suck, my brother sucks, one of us must suck, so we have to switch. Next up is we record the data to see who has the most duel wins, round wins, and average amount of life points.
The most duel wins is the ultimate winner. Ties will be decided by most round wins.
In the event that if rounds are also the same, the winner will then be declared of who has the highest life point damage average.
In the event that life point damage average is also a tie, it will be declared by a coin toss or fan vote, but fan voting is icky so far, so we'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, that will only happen if it's like a fan crowd favorite or a big thing, but I highly doubt it will ever come to this. I mean, what are the chances?
Next is the format of the show. Now, it's no big surprise that we'll be ripping off Deadliest Warrior, or, for you internet-savvy folk, Death Battle.
And with that, we will be comparing each duelist and their decks, weaknesses and strengths, as well as personal achievements and failures, without having a huge list of wins and losses.
After all of it's tallied up, the duels will then be shown.
Yes, but however, we must have a little disclaimer here, because until we're able to find a better animator, well, any animator really, or a better editor, we will have to edit together footage from the anime as well as sound clips to make something coherent.
Now, that's our show in a nutshell. If you have any comments or suggestions for the show, feel free to message us. Also, if you'd be interested in helping the show in any way, again, message us directly. Donations, helping us, animator would be really nice right now.
Like really, because I can edit a little bit, but I do not have a very good program. Maybe a donation could help us, get a better editing program. Should we open a PayPal for that?
I'm sure we should open one, yeah.
But anyway, we're not asking for that. We just ask that you watch and enjoy the show. We're going to work very hard on it, and we should have that first episode up this spring, but until then, we're going to have more preview episodes in the upcoming weeks. This is Demise, and
High on my crest.
Signing out. We hope to see you in the first episode of The Greatest Duelist.